So this is video blog post number 2. Be honest, it's a little weird to have your face on the internet saying things that people will no doubt criticize or judge. But we'll see how this goes. I guess at the end of the day, my goal is to help people. And if one person's helped, even with the error that I bring, I guess it's a good thing. Um, But I just wanted to share something I've been thinking about. I've been looking at the places in the Gospels and in Acts where Jesus eats with people, and it's amazing how common it is. Um, all over the place, Jesus and the disciples are eating meals with people, and I just was looking in Mark chapter 2. Jesus calls Levi, verse 13. He says, it says once again, Jesus went out beside the lake. A large crowd came to him, and he began to teach them. As he walked along, he saw Levi, the son of Alphaeus, sitting at the tax collector's booth. "Follow me," Jesus told him. And Levi got up and followed him. While Jesus was having dinner at Levi's house, many tax collectors and sinners were eating with him and his disciples, for there were many who followed him. And so Jesus tells Levi to come follow him, and then he shows up at Levi's house, and he has a meal. And what's interesting is who he keeps his company with. And so Jesus, the most holy man, the holiest man, the only man to never sin that walked this earth, is now having dinner with tax collectors and quote-unquote sinners, the people who those religious people in the world would just say are completely unacceptable to spend any time with. And so these people, the teachers of the law, who were Pharisees, saw him eating with the sinners and tax collectors. They asked his disciples, "Why does he eat with tax collectors and sinners?" And Jesus says something really interesting. He says, "It's not the healthy who need a doctor, but the sick. I've not come to call the righteous, but sinners." And I've just been thinking lately in relationship to that, how much time I spend with healthy people. I think that I spend the majority of my time, especially as a pastor, with what maybe the Bible would call healthy people. I think that's one of the difficulties of a pastor, is that we all feel called to reach out to those who don't know Jesus, and yet we have this parallel call on tug on our hearts, and that is to encourage and strengthen those who already know Jesus. But what's interesting is that it really does seem like Jesus spent an awful lot of time with unhealthy people. And so I don't really know. I don't really know where to go with that. I guess as I've been thinking about this idea of eating with people, I had a great blessing of opportunity to go overseas and spend some time in Israel and Jordan a few summers ago. And the one thing that I was amazed by was that I would go into the old city in Jerusalem, and people would invite me into their shops. People that I'd literally just met, and they would make me coffee. They would make me tea, and we would sit down and talk for hours. Now, I'm not over exaggerating. I mean, literally hours. People that I had just met. And the idea of hospitality was just unbelievable. And I think that that's something that we in our culture have lost today. And I actually don't think that it's merely cultural. Some people might read the Bible and say, well, Jesus did that because it was part of the culture. But yet the images that are used are just really clear. That a banquet is being prepared, a feast is being prepared for us who know Jesus, those of us who believe in Jesus, that we expect that that's what will come. And so I think that what I'm trying to do in my life, and I don't know, maybe you could do in your life, is just to reclaim this thing called hospitality. Something as simple as eating a meal with someone creates an opportunity to actually step into their lives and care about them. Christians are so quick to tell people what they need to do. You need to accept Jesus. You need to realize that the way you're living is not right. You need to go to church. Christians are very quick to say that kind of thing, and yet very slow to live lives, that live life with people. To open up your life with people. And so we go into church, we receive a product, we leave. We spend time with people. We're always on a time schedule. We're looking at our watches all the time. We got to go somewhere else. And most of the time what's interesting is that somewhere else is to some kind of churchy function, spending time with healthy people. And so I've really been trying to get to the point where an awful lot more of my time is spent with those people who might not be considered healthy, but who are in need of Jesus. A while ago, that idea of what would Jesus do came out, right? What would Jesus do? I've been thinking a lot about that as well. If Jesus was here, what would he be doing? I think that Acts gives us a picture of that. His apostles, his sent ones, give us a picture of that, witnessing to him. But I think that Jesus would be eating a lot of meals. If people could call him a glutton and a drunkard because he was eating and drinking so much, my guess is he'd be at an awful lot of barbecues, he'd be at an awful lot of parties. And so my goal is to do the same thing, not to party, but to minister to people who are in need. So just wanted to share that and encourage you, who knows, maybe to ask someone in your life if they want to grab a bite to eat and see if you can't minister to them somehow.